This is the annotation video for reproduction PP2. Base your answers to questions 1 through 5 on the diagram below and on your knowledge of biology. The diagram below represents stages that occur during the development of an embryo. Question 1. Which of the following statements is correct regarding the stage between arrows 1 and 2? So we're going to take a look at the directions, say, between arrows 1 and 2. We're going to identify that. Now, I know it looks like an egg. However, this is the egg right here. This is the sperm. This right here is when the sperm and the egg join together. That is called a zygote. So what you have to do is you have to look in your notes, look in gene expression 2, or maybe you wrote it down from the first video, but look for the definition of zygote. So if you notice, we got to look at the options. A, the cell at this stage is undergoing differentiation. B, the cell at this stage has genetic material identical to one of the parents. C, the cell at this stage has half of the genetic material of an adult from the species. Or D, the cell at this stage contains the complete genetic information as an adult from the species. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this strategy, the cross-out strategy, and I'm going to take note of this word. This genetic material is not identical. Because when you have identical genetic material, that means mitosis. And that's not the case. Another thing I want to take note of is when we see this term, differentiation, that means something is becoming different. And that's not happening. So we're going to eliminate, it's not undergoing differentiation, it's also not B. So looking at C and D, make your decision. All right, let's get rid of this. Question number 2, it says, which arrow represents differentiation? Now, I just said it before, but differentiation, again, means becoming different. And that's when genes get turned on and off. But really, the genes are getting turned on here. And then it is becoming different. So if you notice, differentiation is either at arrow 1, and arrow 1 is actually fertilization. Arrow 2 is mitosis. So both of these are out. Now, between C and D, choose your answer. Question number 3. Which of the following stages occurs in the uterus? So what we have to do is we have to look at our notes for respiration 1, and the uterus is where the embryo develops. Okay, it is the embryo is developing in there, and this right here represents the embryo. So what I would like you to do is use this strategy, the cross-out strategy, and let's eliminate 2 of them. I'm going to check. So I want you to cross out words or phrases that make 1 or 2 of these options incorrect. Question number 4. Which arrow represents fertilization? Well, for this one, fertilization is when you have a sperm plus an egg. Now, is it arrow 1, 2, 5, or 6? Indicate your response. Question number 5. Which arrow results in the development of an embryo? Well, let's look right here. An embryo is the alien looking thing. Okay, this one right here is a fetus. So guess what? That's the embryo. Indicate your response. Okay. We're going to look at the next questions now. All right, base your answer to this question on the diagram to the right and on your knowledge of biology. The diagram represents structures within the female and male reproductive systems. Question number 6. Which letter refers to the structure in which both mitosis and differentiation occur? So what we have to indicate is mitosis involves growth, and differentiation is basically when you go from the stage that looks like this to the stage that looks like this. And where does that occur? That occurs in the uterus. Look at your notes and indicate where is the uterus. Question number 7. Which of the following statements best explains the connection between differentiation and an organism's genetic content? When I see differentiation, again, it refers to that, what is happening here. And genetic content refers to DNA. Let's look at the options. Letter A. All body cells within an organism contain the same DNA, but genes are turned on in specific cells to produce unique proteins. B. During embryonic development, differentiation occurs, resulting in different DNA sequences in different tissue types. C. Following the process of differentiation, the cells in an organism do not contain the same DNA. And D. Through the process of differentiation, genes that do not produce necessary proteins are destroyed in particular cells. Okay, I'm going to use this strategy to cross out. And I know from what I've learned and from what we've discussed, the cells in an organism do contain the same DNA. So they do contain the same DNA. Option C is wrong. And the other option, it's in B, it says during embryonic development, differentiation occurs resulting in different DNA sequences. It still has the same DNA, it's just that genes are going on and off. So between A and D, choose your response. Question 8. Which of the following statements explains why the embryo is more sensitive to environmental factors during the first trimester than during the third trimester of pregnancy? So, option A. So let's look here, actually. The first trimester is early, and the third trimester, if you remember from the video, the baby's just getting bigger. Okay, that's growth / mitosis. Early in the pregnancy, we're going to have differentiation. Now, A. After the first trimester, the fetus is not affected by environmental factors. B. Genes are responsible for development only during the first trimester of pregnancy. C. Organs develop during the early pregnancy, and any environmental changes can interrupt that development. Or D. No changes occur to the developing fetus after the first trimester of pregnancy. What I would like you to do is, using the cross-out strategy, cross out one or two bad choices by eliminating the word or phrase that makes it incorrect. Okay, next one. Base your answers to questions 9 and 10 on the diagram on the right, which represents various processes involved in the life cycle of sexually reproducing organisms. So let's take a moment to make some sense of this diagram. So first we start with an adult, and then something happens and we get a sperm and an egg. And then from the sperm and the egg, something else happens to get a zygote. Then what happens is the zygote eventually will become a fetus. So let's make some notes here. So what is this process? This process right here refers to sperm plus egg. Correction. My bad. This process is the sperm plus the egg. What is the process that is making the sperm and the egg? That is a cell division process, and that is known as meiosis. Now in letter D, we have a cell division process as well. And we have mitosis. And then this is the entire pregnancy. So anything that happens during the pregnancy will be happening at D. And finally, at letter A, we're going to have the fetus is growing into an adult. That is growth. Also, mitosis. Okay. Now, question 9. The process that results in some genes being turned on and some genes being turned off is represented by which arrow? Genes being turned on and off, that is known as differentiation. Which arrow is that? Is that A, B, C, or D? Finally, number 10. Which of the following correctly identifies the processes represented by the arrows in the diagram? So, is arrow A fertilization? Let's look at this. Is arrow A fertilization, arrow C differentiation, and arrow D mitosis? What I would like you to do is, using the cross-out strategy, go through and eliminate wrong choices, and there is only one possibility for a correct answer. Thank you.